This is the Neon Tarantino, the director, Derek Dillinger.
And Katie Arquette, the leading lady of the production.
And we're live. No second takes, no reshoots.
And you're watching the Main Event Wrestling Network.
Cut.
Hello. Happy morning, good morning, happy Thursday. It is time for some more Kayfabe coffee. Hope you got your breakfast. Hope you got your coffee. If you're at work, bless. But we're here on this fine morning. We're going to talk some AEW Dynamite from last night and all that fun stuff you've come accustomed to here on Thursday mornings. Eric, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know enough about that roster to even speculate. I am not the right guy for that. I'm sure whoever they send, it'll be a great match. But I don't know much of the roster. There is only so much time in the day, my friend. But before we dive into the fun stuff, as you can see, go follow us here at the Main Event Wrestling Network. It is at mainevent_net on Instagram, on Twitter. You see this QR code in the corner here. Dive into that. It'll send you everywhere you need to go. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We're on the road to 400. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can get first dibs on when we go live for all our content here at Main Event Wrestling Network. So do that. Share this out. Do the dang thing. That's an order. But AEW Dynamite, they were in Virginia last night. Another good show. I'm telling you guys. This is not this show, so we're not going to dive super into it. But I do believe for the first time, like truly, for the first time since probably that first year of AEW, I do feel like there's a little bit of a momentum shift going on. A smidge. Small. Very small. But I do feel like AEW has a window here to improve this situation even greater than it already is. And I think so far they're capitalizing. I think a lot of people tuned in to Double or Nothing that weren't for the first time. And I thought a lot of people were impressed. I've seen some big content creators who were WWE only people making videos that they watched or went to Double or Nothing, and it was the best wrestling show they've seen. And I just think that AEW, it's been trending up for a long time, but I think there's momentum and a window here. I really do. And this show was another good show. Back to 2 hours. Bless. And it was really good. And we started off hot. We get a backstage thing from earlier in the day where Renee is interviewing Roosh. And he says that, I've beaten the entire roster. I'm winning my matches in less than a minute. I've been waiting for more than 3 years, and finally I'm getting my shot at the AEW championship. He goes, I would die in that ring if that's what it takes. He goes, this is for my people, my family, my pride. He goes, I'm going to take the, world title because when you mess with the bull, you get the horns. MJF rolls up. He didn't finish the catchphrase, so MJF is like, finish the catchphrase, finish your cute catchphrase. And he goes, well, if you're the bull, then I'm the matador. And he slaps the shit out of him. Slaps the crap out of him. And then they start brawling in the back. Security has to break them out. Great Brown Hope, good to see you, pal. Hope you're doing well on this Thursday. And so they showed that from earlier today. And then we find out that this is a no count-out match now. It's a no count-out match. They made it that stipulation because of what happened at the brawl earlier in the day. And then we get back to real time, and it's Renee interviewing Roosh again, which I thought was kind of cool. Kind of like the back-to-back interviews with the same people. And Andrade rolls up. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Andrade rolls up. He gives him a little bit of a pep talk. He says, you're doing it for your family, for La Raza. He goes, you're doing it for anyone who says they can't be we can't be world champions. He goes, show everyone who Roosh is, because when you mess with the bull and then the crowd finishes, you get with the horns. And then he kind of gives him a nod, like, go get it done, dude. I thought that was good. Andrade and Roosh there. I like that. And then we had this world title match. MJF comes out dressed as a matador. A piece of shit. What a piece of shit. Unbelievable. He comes out dressed as a matador, of course. Of course he would. And then he has Justin Roberts during announcements remind the crowd that he took out their Virginia boy Hangman, Adam Page, and now he can't challenge for the world title anymore. And he goes, and also let them know that they put the Virgin in Virginia. Now, I laughed. I don't care. Call me immature. I don't give a shit. I laughed. Oh, enjoy that one. Fucking trash. Knicks are going to win the NBA championship. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable when you think about it. Fucking trash bag New York Knicks are going to be NBA champions. That's how you know the league's at an all-time low. Christ. Anyway, world title match. MJF, Roosh. No count out. I still think I thought you were losing in 5, but Brunson's a dog, man. I said Spurs in 5, potentially 6, because I think Brunson will win you a game, maybe 2. He won you that game last night. I don't disagree with that. But all in all, I think the Spurs, top to bottom, are a better team. But the Knicks are dogs, dude. Josh Hart's a dog. Brunson's a dog. Cat played a lot better than I thought they would. Yeah, but the best defender in the league is on the Spurs. Literally in the league. Now, he did not have a great game. He looked tired last night. So that's a concern because he's played a lot of basketball. But the best defender in the league is Wemby. He's a defensive player, he's easily. Yeah, not last night. Okay. Now, if that happens all series, you guys are going to win. I still think it goes 6 or 7 for you to win. But I don't know. All I know is, from my perspective, if the New York Knicks win the NBA championship, it is good for the league. It is good for the league that New York is in the, let's be realistic. It is a business. It is good for the league, but it would be just another wasted opportunity for my Boston Celtics, who should have fired their coach of the year. But I digress. Listen, Knicks fans have been waiting a long time. Of all the New York teams, the Knicks are the team, I still think they're trash because it's the New York, but the Knicks are the team I probably dislike the least. Because I hate the Yankees, obviously. The Jets can suck it. The Giants, I can't talk shit about as a Patriots fan, but I hate the Giants. Hockey, I'm into hockey, but I don't care about hockey enough to care either about the Islanders or the Rangers. The Rangers would be the team I would dislike more, but I don't care about that. So the Knicks, here's the thing. I'm a 41-year-old guy. The Knicks have never mattered in my life to me, ever. The Knicks have always been the Knicks. It was always a big deal when the Celtics were playing in MSG and stuff like that, but the Knicks haven't mattered at all. They were never a threat. The Celtics were bad for the first half of my whole life. But once the Celtics got good, the Knicks were never a concern until the last couple of years. So I don't like the Knicks because it's New York. You know what I mean? It's New York, so I'm not going to root for New York in a friendly sense. I love the city. But in a friendly, I hate you. I hate you. But like they haven't mattered to me in basketball terms, the Knicks. They just haven't mattered because they just didn't. In 1999, the last time they made it to the finals, the Celtics were okay. We had Antoine Walker. We were okay. We made the playoffs one time, I think, before Pierce and fucking crapped out. But yeah, anyway, that's the basketball minute. Congratulations on your game one. Don't burn down the city, guys. I know you like to do that when you win nothing, like second rounds last year. You burn down half the city because you're a loser fan base. No offense. But you might be champions this year, so God bless you. All right. World title match, MJF, Roosh. This was a great fucking match. Long match. I thought this was actually smart that they gave away the world title match. Before the NBA Finals started. Because I bet you they knew they were going to lose some viewership to the NBA Finals. So they were like, we're putting the world title match first. So I actually thought that was good business by Tony Khan, putting the world title match first. And this was a hell of an opener. Well, hey, I'm not even going to talk about Philly J. Gold because I think that's one thing you and I can align on. And you want to talk about trash. But it's all right. We took their receiver, though, so bless. I find, again, now we're talking about real sports. We're going to get this done in an hour. Trust me, I'm good at what I do. If we're talking about real sports, I find it funny that the second the guy leaves your city, now all of a sudden these stories come out, but you guys didn't have the balls to talk about it when he was there. So, shameful media as well in Philadelphia. Loser. Anyway, this match was hot from the jump. They were trading punches right out of the gates. You could tell some of the hatred from earlier in the day spilled over. This was just really, really good. It was long. It was back and forth. There were weapons involved. There were, the crowd was really super into it. At one point, Roosh was busted open and bleeding everywhere. Is it you, Kyle? Are you in the top spot? Cats do rule. Yeah, it's dark back there. He doesn't use that one. That's his older one. He has a much bigger one upstairs that he sleeps on most of the day. But there was a stretch where I usually leave the door open so he can drop kick it. But he doesn't really hang up there that much. He usually hangs he'll hang up here or he'll hang kind of down here near his treat bowl. But, yeah, man. This was the main event, Cats. You know it. This was a hell of an opener. Go out of your way to see it. That power bomb knee break, backbreaker on the knee that Max does, that's one of my favorite moves in professional wrestling. I think that looks so gnarly. At one point, Roosh hit a straight jacket pile driver on the apron to MJF, which was a great spot. It was just really, really good. Max gets the horns, but he puts his hand on a rope at a close two count towards the end of this match. Max got flipped over into the timekeeper's area on the table when he was trying to ram Roosh into the barricade. At one point, there was a broken piece of the barricade out there, and Max hit a tombstone pile driver onto the barricade. Then they get back in the ring towards the end of the match. They're going back and forth with each other. He hits a heat seeker. Max is grabbing the knee, selling the knee. He's been selling the knee every match, which I appreciate. But he's selling the knee. Roosh is trying to get up to the turnbuckle. He purchases MJF up, but he sidesteps it, puts in the label lock. And this part of the match was awesome because he has him in the label lock. And Roosh is trying to hang on, and then all of a sudden, Roosh kind of makes eye contact with MJF, and he sticks his tongue out, which got a huge pop from the crowd, and he flips him off. He's in the move, and he chucks him the bird, and then he passes out. And MJF won via submission because Roosh passed out. I love that. I loved that finish to that match because it showed that like Roosh was losing. He knew he was losing, but he wanted Max to know, like, I fucking love this shit. Like, this ain't the end of me. Like, this ain't the last you're seeing of me. Like, I'm ready to fucking go, dude. I love that. I actually think that's going to get Roosh over even more. I thought that was a great ending sequence. With that, I very much enjoyed that. Post-match, MJF grabs the title. He picks up, and it looks like he's lining Roosh up to hit him with the belt, and we get Mark Briscoe's music. MJF tries to hit Briscoe with the belt. He ducks. He underhooks Max. Max gets out of it. He kicks Briscoe low. He lines him up for a shot, but Orange Cat, the conglomeration, come out. Max runs off. And that's the end of that. We go to the first break of the show. All right. The next thing that happened was Lio Rush versus Mark Briscoe. So I'm going to talk about the Briscoe match, this match, and then I'm going to talk about Mark Briscoe for a little bit. I love that Lio Rush is getting featured on Dynamite. I think that he is putting in a ton of work on this character. I still don't know what the fuck this character is, but I love this fucking character. And I've always liked Lio Rush. He got a full entrance. He was in the 4-way last week. He got a full entrance last night. They came back and Briscoe was still in the ring and he gets the full entrance. I loved what they did with the conglomeration because they were like leaving ringside and his music hits and they all freeze, and Orange Cassidy's facial expression, like he is creeped the hell out by Lio Rush. And I love that little add-on to that. And Lio Rush is doing his thing and they're all like standing still, like pretending they're not there. Like they're like, if we stand still, maybe he won't notice we're here. I was laughing. I thought that was hilarious. I loved it. And he got real close to Orange Cassidy, and Orange Cassidy's like facial. He's like, oh, like, don't touch me. Don't talk to me. Very good. And then when he gets by them, they all like speed walk out of there. Like, dude, let's go. Let's go. Like, I just thought that was very, very good. And then him and Briscoe had a good match. Again, I'm not going to go into details of this match. At first, Lio Rush kept on like whispering in Briscoe's ear, and Briscoe was like, you know, acting like he kind of understood, but he didn't. And he was like, what? And then they just started going into the match, and it was a really good match. Lio Rush showing his speed. That like stopping on a dime and going different angles to the ropes always gets me because I've just never seen that before. Look, this was a really good match, as you would expect. And Mark Briscoe won the match, as you would expect. And then at the end of the match, he cuts a great promo. He cuts a great promo. And I want to say this before I dive into like the gist of the promo. I love Mark Briscoe. I love Mark Briscoe. I never, how am I going to say this? I don't ever dislike the time that Mark Briscoe's on my TV. Like, I feel like it's either a great match or a promo that makes me feel something or laugh or whatever. I love Mark Briscoe. And this promo was great. He talked about his brother, and it was very emotional. He talks about the day, the 17th of January. He said, that's the day my brother died. And it happened out of nowhere. My tag partner for 20 plus years, gone just like that. Blink of an eye. He goes, one day later, a few hours later, it was Mark's birthday. And then he goes, and 1 week later, like it's been their whole lives, on January 25th, which is my sister's birthday. Shout out to my sister. He goes, that was my older brother's birthday. So my sister and Jay Briscoe, I have a picture of Jay Briscoe right there. You can't see it with the angle, but that was his birthday. And he goes, and instead of celebrating and eating birthday cake together like we always did, I found myself making my AEW debut. He goes, making my debut alone. And he goes, Max, you can only imagine the whirlwind of emotions He goes, I had grief, I had anger, I had rage, but I pushed it all down and buried it deep. And he goes, AEW may have saved my life because this was my therapy. He goes, I vented, I got anger out of it, but deep down in my core, I still couldn't find joy. He goes, then I found some buddies who were down to conglomerate, and my heart became full again. He goes, I felt like I had brothers again, and I felt the joy of being a professional wrestler once again. And then I crossed paths with you, Max. And week by week, slowly but surely, with every bullshit sentence that came out of your mouth, that anger and rage came back to the surface. And he goes, and beyond that, he goes, because I've never hated a man like I hate you, MJF. I thought that was a great line. Simple, but I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. He goes, and you know damn well what happened when I got my hands on you. I pinned your bloody ass 1, 2, 3 in the middle of this ring. He goes, and then you went away, and I was at ease again. He goes, but sure enough, your ugly head popped back up, and the rage has resurfaced, and only now you have something I want, the AEW World Championship. He goes, I'm not like you, Max. I don't complain. I don't throw hissy fits until I get what I want. I'm a grinder. I come to work every day. I don't complain, and I do my job. And the crowd really clapped and responded to that. He goes, and I'm calling you out. You say you're the best. Prove it. He goes, I bring Briscoe to a place of darkness like there's demons on him, and ain't that appropriate for a guy that calls himself the devil? And he goes, so Hebrew on your chest. He goes, on my chest it says child of God. And he says, I don't know if Max has read the book, but you lose. Now give me a title shot, you moist ass bitch, he called him. Moist. Great fucking promo. Really, really, really good promo. One of the best Briscoe has given us in AEW. I thought this was a tremendous promo. And I will tell you, when Briscoe came out last week, even though I love Mark Briscoe, I had no interest in seeing Mark Briscoe and MJF for the title. And I know I wasn't alone. There are people on this. Tanner from the Kicking Out Pod, Sunday nights right here on the Main Event Net. He had a similar feeling. He said it on their show last week. I was like, I don't need to see it. We've seen it. And I'm still not 100. Like, I don't need to see it. But that promo by Briscoe, okay. Like, I don't think it should be on a pay-per-view. Give it to me on a Dynamite or a Collision. Like, it should be a TV title match, in my opinion. But, like, that promo sold me a ticket. That promo with him, I thought was such a good promo that, like, all right, cool. Yeah, like, I'm in. I know Max will win. Whatever. And again, I'm pro Max. Like, he should win. But, like, I know Max is going to win. It doesn't matter to me. That promo, to me, sold me. At least I'm okay. Like, I'm cool with, I think Andrade should be, like, the pay-per-view match. Well, here's the thing, right? And we're going to get into it. In the first hour of this match, you had MJF defending the title against Roosh. And then you had Briscoe calling him out that he wants a title match. You had Andrade calling him out that he wants a title match. And what I said last week is one thing that I appreciate and I agree with you, AEW is at its best with MJF on top. And one thing that I appreciate when MJF is on top that I feel like it doesn't happen when there's been other champions is there are multiple people that want to get to Max because he's so hated by the whole company because he's been a piece of shit to everyone since day one. So now he's the champion, and all these guys that this guy's been an asshole to are like, fuck that guy. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot today. But they're like, fuck that guy. I want to kick his ass and become world champion now. And I love that. Anyway. I digress. So that ends. And then we get a hype reel for Kevin Knight and Speedball. They'll be fighting for the TNT Championship. But then I asked for this over the weekend. I asked for it on Beards. I asked for it here. I said, I need to hear more Tekla talking on Dynamite. I feel like the world champion should be on the main show. And we get the Triangle of Madness coming through the crowd. She says, "What's going on, dumb bitches?" She goes, "Listen up. The world champion is here to speak, and y'all need to listen." She goes, "I made a promise last week that if one person from Stardom comes here, I'd burn that company down." She goes, "In Japan, they used to call me the idol killer because every single cutesy, kawaii little girl would make her sick to my stomach. So I had to take them all out." I think that Montreal show is Kenny for sure. I think it's Kenny for sure. And then he'll be the champion for Will. That Grand Slam show, I could see a rematch with Mystico. But Andrade in Mexico seems to be about right. My thing is, she got fired from Stardom in real life. Again, I don't know enough. I'm the wrong guy. I'm deep into wrestling, but I'm not. And I know Stardom's great, and I know it's a lot of people with reputable who I adore and trust their word say it's the best women's wrestling on the planet. It probably is. I don't watch it regularly. I don't know mainly anybody that wrestles there unless they're kind of shown to me on this. So I am the wrong guy to go deep into it, but I believe she legitimately lost her job in Stardom, got fired. Yes. So she's saying, she had to take them all out because the cutesy little girls made her sick to her stomach. And she goes, "And yet, yes, it's true. I did get fired from Japan. So now I have to do it all over again." She goes, "The Triangle of Madness have 3 jobs to do." She goes, "Sky Blue, this one, needs to go win the Owen Hart tournament." She goes, "Julia Hart has to go get back her TBS title." I like how they mentioned all 3. Like, all 3 have goals. It's just not, obviously Tekla is the lead of the group. She's the world champion. But I like how she's like, no, we all have things we need to do. It's not just Tekla and her 2 friends. I like that. And she goes, "But I has my eyes set to Forbidden Door." And she goes, "And whether they come here or I have to go there, it doesn't matter because I'm going to close that door to that for damn good, baby." She goes, "I'm not declaring war on Stardom. I'm declaring death to Stardom." And she goes, "And if that message wasn't already clear enough," she grabs a ladder, or there's a ladder near the Tron, I guess you would call it, AEW's version of the Tron. And she climbs the ladder because they had the Forbidden Door thing and there was a Stardom logo. Or the Owen Hart thing and there was a Stardom logo. She climbs to the top of the ladder and she spits on the Stardom logo. Savage. And that was it. So, yeah. Good times. Good times. I thought this was a good promo. I liked it. I like she's just badass, dude. She's cool as shit. She's cool as shit, as Eric says. She's just cool as shit. Then we get the Death Riders and Will Ospreay. Moxley is giving Will a pep talk about how Mark Davis isn't a movie monster. He's got 2 legs, 2 arms. He goes, "You can beat him." He's indestructible in mind and spirit. And Don Callis is going to have to hire a tractor trailer to run him over and take him out. That's what Ospreay says. And then Moxley says, "Your only job is to lay back on the mat and break Mark's arm. I'll take care of the rest." Ospreay nods. John adds that he doesn't blow smoke up anybody's ass, but he's starting to see it. And then there's that. Then we come back to ringside. Andrade's making his entrance. He does the selfie thing with, I thought it was Emily J. It looked like Emily J. But Andrade fought an enhancement talent. Real quick, real easy. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. Gets a nice victory. Hits the DM for the win. Andrade gets on the mic, though, afterwards. And he says, "Now that MJF has the title, I really want it. He knows that you beat my friend, my brother Roosh." He goes, "But do you think you can beat me? Do you think you can beat the real Latino man?" And he says, "How you know?" And that was that. When the hell is June 11th? Next Thursday? Oh no, I gotta work. Yeah, so we saw that. So that was pretty good. Don Callis comes out. He congratulates Andrade on his win. He says, but I got something very important to say. And he announces the newest member of the Don Callis family is the Jet, Kevin Knight. And he said his match is happening right now. I'm going to say this. I don't like this. I don't think Kevin Knight needs the Callis family. I think that Kevin Knight has made it very clear since he arrived at the company that he is a big enough star that he does not need the Callis family to remain or even become a bigger star. Again, I'm not anti-Callis family either. And I'm not even anti-Don Callis. This is unnecessary to me. This is unnecessary. Just let him shine on his own. I don't understand why. If you're going to turn him heel, and Eric, you nailed it. I was just going to go there. If you're going to turn him heel and align him with somebody, have him be with Swerve. Swerve was the one that was trying to get in his ear months and months ago anyway. This made no sense to me, and I don't think it's a setback for Kevin Knight because Kevin Knight is fucking awesome, and he's going to be just fine. But it's just unnecessary to me. It is unnecessary to me. That guy is already a big enough star that he doesn't need nobody, let alone a group of fucking 15. It's just unnecessary. To me. However, what was necessary was this TNT title match that we got. And I think that this was just a taste. I don't know how they're going to stretch it out 2 months to July, but this will be a rematch at that pay-per-view in Montreal, and Speedball Mike Bailey will beat Kevin Knight for that title in Montreal, in his home, home country, home city, whatever. That is the moment of Slammiversary, is Speedball winning that fucking title in Montreal. And that place, the roof is going to blow. I think I'm probably going to be in the building, but the roof is going to blow off that fucking place. But this match was good. This match was very, very good, as you would expect. But towards the end of it, too much bullshit. Now, I think that will enhance the story, which makes this go on further, obviously, because if Kevin Knight beats Speedball straight up, then Speedball doesn't really have an axe to grind to get a rematch. You just got to, But the way that this went down, it was a good competitive match. And then at the end, every fucking person alive came out here. Everybody. Yeah, there was just a lot going on, dude. The Callis family made their, they were out there. Takeshita and all those people came out. No, wait, was that the main event where that happened? Yeah, no, was that the main event that happened? Yes, never mind. I'm getting my matches confused. But God almighty. Don Callis did crotch shot Speedball Mike Bailey. That was my confusion. Don Callis crotch shotted Speedball when it looked like Speedball. Jake Doyle was out there. He got involved, runs interference, and then that allowed Callis to crotch Speedball. And then he hit the avalanche spine buster, which did not look good. That was a gnarly landing for Speedball. That was a gnarly landing for Speedball. But Kevin Knight wins. I do expect this to go further now that there were some shenanigans in the end of the match. The Jet gets on the mic. He says, that's how you do it right there. He goes, I had to get rid of the dead weight holding me down, so I linked up with Don Perrione, he called him. And I'm with the Callis family for one reason, and one reason is to get straight to the top, which he could have done on his own, and be Jet 2 belts. He goes, baby, so MJF, I'm waiting on you. So Kevin Knight, another person. So 3 people calling out MJF. You love to see. Then we get the backstage. It's the dogs. They're being interviewed about the week they had. They're talking Christian Cage and Copeland and how now they have the 5-second bruise and kazoos to celebrate what they did to them. The Young Bucks roll up. Matt Jackson says, I get it. You're the young guys trying to make an impression. He goes, but the problem is you think you're up next for the tag titles when we have the Bullet Club's worst leader ever and Timu Hangman with Clark Connors. I thought that was funny. He goes, but we brought our gear. We can settle it tonight. And David Finlay cracks a beer and says, the number one contenders will wrestle when they feel like it. And they just walk away. So we got that. MJF is in an ice bath in the back. And Renee's interviewing him. And Max says he's not surprised people are coming after him in my world title. He says if that hick Mark Briscoe wants a shot at glory, he's going to try to make it concise. No match for you, you bumpkin. He goes, the world title is for winners and top guys like MJF, not guys like Briscoe. My word is my bond. My word is law. And nobody in this company can beat me. And then he tells Briscoe not to ask again because it's not happening. And that's that, which means it's definitely happening. Here we go. It was time for the women's quarterfinal match. Not that I know. At least I haven't seen any. So, it was a women's quarterfinal match. Alex Windsor versus the wild card. And the wild card, this is who I thought it was going to be. I felt like you had to go really, really big. And it was Mercedes Moné. She makes her triumphant return. We have not seen her since late last year. She comes back. It's her and Windsor, and these two had a good one. Doing some, schoolboy nail falls, drop kicks, 1 counts, arm ringers, corner whips, up and overs, got some drags, back rolls. So we're getting some, back and forth there at the, and then Mercedes kind of starts to get momentum. She hits an early statement maker, but Windsor keeps on getting out of it. The lung blower connected. There was a cover for 2. Alex countered with the leg pick, which was nice. Windsor starts clobbering her with some elbows. She eats a knee through the ropes. We got a hangman's neck breaker. And then we make it to the floor. And then Moné hits a big Meteora to the floor, and that sends us to a break. We come back, and Windsor is kind of hitting a shoulder block. They're both women are down. Mercedes then rolls out to the floor. Windsor lays her out. She throws her back inside. Mercedes then goes for the 3 amigos, but Windsor counters with a nice Michinoku driver. Another Meteora. Windsor kicks out. We get a buckle bomb from Mercedes. They're trading near falls. It's really, really good. Back and forth. We get a victory roll from Mercedes. Then we get another kick out. Then we get a big knee, a lung blower, and then a float over to the statement maker again. And this time, Windsor taps out. So Mercedes is on to the second round. She will face the winner of Persephone and Hazuki, which is happening on Collision. Yes, that's what I think. I think Mercedes is most likely going to win. I think Mercedes wins the Owen. She goes back-to-back, and she goes for a world title match against Tekla, and Mercedes is the babyface, and I think Mercedes wins the world title at All In as a natural, just over babyface. I've kind of been saying that for a long time, that I thought whenever Mercedes did win the title for the first time, it would be as a babyface. I think that's what we're building to here. I think that's the way it goes. Renee Paquette is interviewing Don Callis backstage with Okada. Callis says that gold just comes to me. He goes, I'm excited for Kevin Knight to be the greatest TNT champion ever, and for Mark Davis to beat Will Ospreay and win the Owen. And he goes, and that just leaves us with Okada. He goes, he got screwed, and we're not going to stand for it. And then Okada says Takeshita is nothing without the Callis family, and my title doesn't belong in a backpack. So obviously it seems like we're heading towards a rematch. even though Fletcher's been kind of floating around there. But it seems like Okada wants a rematch with Takeshita. We then get Ciampa backstage, and he's talking about Chris Jericho. He says Jericho is at home because he beat the hell out of him. He goes, Jericho, you made your triumphant return to AEW. You definitively beat Ricochet, and then reality struck. Because I came in while you were gone, and I knew the best way to make my mark was to chop the head off the snake. He goes, I got a long list, and if Jericho comes back, he needs to know he'll be waiting. He goes, unless, of course, I strike first, you stupid idiot. Mark Briscoe's going to end up losing this feud. I spoke on it last week. I'm not Mark Briscoe. I don't like Tommaso Ciampa losing to Chris Jericho in a feud. I don't like that. With that being said, this will be good. I do think this will be good, what we see. Tommaso Ciampa shouldn't be losing to Jericho. That's just how I feel in 2026. Then it's main event time, baby. Dunkzilla, Mark Davis versus Will Ospreay, a semifinal of the men's Owen Hart tournament. Great main event. Now, this was the match that I messed up earlier. The end of this became a shit show. It became a shit show. But before it became a shit show, there was a lot of good stuff. Mark Davis is just, I feel like I say it every time he wrestles, but this guy has turned himself into a bona fide, he's a dude. He's a dude, man. Big, brutal, violent wrestler. And Ospreay with his quickness and agility. This was a perfect pairing. Obviously, former friends, so the story was there as well. And Ospreay started off hot. Low drop kick. He starts laying kicks in immediately. And then Davis starts utilizing his power. He scoop slams him. It's a big back elbow. They're going back and forth with each other. Will's lining him up for a springboard elbow. 2 count. Davis goes to the floor. Ospreay runs after him. And then Will goes into the barricade. Will hit a great Frankensteiner to the floor to counter a move that was very, very good. And then Davis hits a crash landing onto the announce desk, which was a great spot. He throws Will into the barricade. He brings him back inside. We get a big superplex off the top rope, and he gets up and he screams Dunkzilla. Just great sequence for him. And he's just beating. Then we get a break, but he's beating the shit out of Will the whole commercial break, picture in picture, just beating the crap out of him. We come back, and he's lighting Ospreay up with chops. He hits a big Saito suplex. Will kicks out. He's still dominating him. But then Ospreay pops back up. He hits an enziguri. He's super kicking him. He's trying to chop him. They're going back and forth. Corkscrew kick lands, but Dunk kicks out. A bridging German suplex, which was wonderful. And then it looks like Will is going for the death. He's got the death ground that his new signature in. And Davis counters it with the power bomb, and he hits a close your eyes. And then Will kicks out at 2. Very near fall right there. They're back on the apron. Big lariat to the inside. Huge Frankensteiner. They're just going back and forth. Drop kick, Styles clash. Davis kicks out of the Styles clash. Goes for an Os cutter. And he goes for an enziguri, and there's a duck, and Paul Turner gets kicked with the enziguri. Now, this is where the referee's out. Gets kicked out of the ring. Ospreay hits a hidden blade. Falls on top of Davis. There's no one to count. Then we get Trent Beretta and El Clone hit the ring. They start beating down Will, but Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta even the score there, right? Lance Archer comes down. He hits a double crossbody on Garcia and Wheeler, but Claudio comes out and he does a springboard uppercut, takes out Lance Archer. Brian Cage then comes out, hits Claudio with an F5. Then we have Pac, and he's kicking Brian Cage out of the ring. Dunkzilla comes back in. He back suplex throws Pac. Ospreay hits an Os cutter. The Death Riders throw Paul Turner in the ring, but then Jake Doyle grabs Paul Turner and yanks him back out of the ring. Marina Shafir shows up, and she jumps on Jake Doyle's back to fight him off. Doyle kind of slings her off. She spits on Doyle. Moxley then shows up, and he starts elbowing Doyle to shit. Jake's returning elbows. Mox hits a paradigm shift. They throw him out. Pac then does a huge dive onto everybody on the outside. Will Ospreay crawls over to Mark. He underhooks, picks him up. There's still no referee in sight. Then we got Kyle Fletcher shows up. He hits a snap half Nelson suplex, which looked fucking crisp, by the way. Then he takes his blazer off. He has the screwdriver. And then we get Konosuke Takeshita. He pulls Kyle out of the ring. They're brawling on the outside. Fletcher rams him into the barricade, but, they're fighting. Then we get back into the ring. Mark Davis then has the screwdriver. Then Will Ospreay hits a hidden blade that just knocks the screwdriver out of Davis's arm, and Davis is kind of spinning about, and then he hits a real one that takes out Davis. There's still no referee. Bryce Remsburg runs down, slides in, and Mark Davis kicks out at 2. Crazy. Ospreay goes for another hidden blade. It's ducked by Davis. He hits another close your eyes and count on Will Ospreay. Will kicks out again. Then Will goes off the ropes. He floats over. He hits the flying arm bar, and he locks in the death ground, and Mark Davis taps out. It's been an arm bar, just an arm bar, right? Not an arm bar. You know what I'm talking about. But, and he taps, and it's over. And Will Ospreay does what Moxley asked and gets Mark Davis to tap out with the death ground. All in all, a good match. But that whole end, everyone and their mother came out. There was a ton of shit going on at the end of that match. Fine. There's a history with these two. Fine. But all in all, it was an entertain. Like, the crowd was fucking hot as shit for it. And it was exciting, but that was, that's a semifinal in a tournament to go to a final. I would like it to have a little bit. You want to throw a few things in there. Fine. That was, the whole shit was out there. That was like the whole, basically like 7/8 of the Callis family, all of the Death Riders, like that was just nonsense. I expect a straight up Death Riders versus Callis family Anarchy in the Arena at All In Wembley. That's what I expect. Anyway, Will Ospreay wins. He's in the finals of the Owen Hart tournament. He awaits the winner of next week's match between Swerve Strickland and Brody King. I am assuming that will be Swerve. And then at Forbidden Door, we are going to get a beautiful match. At Forbidden Door, y'all, we're going to be getting Ospreay and Swerve, and most likely Mercedes and Athena. Bless. Okay. To me, those are two excellent finals for this tournament. Let me tell you. But that was Dynamite. Back to 2 hours. And yes, we do. Because, the wrestling world has decided that we're just going to be fucking petty instead of letting our superstars and wrestlers shine, doing a strong disservice to the NXT roster, WWE, but anything to get under AEW's skin, anything. And AEW should just stay the course like they have been doing. Don't even fucking acknowledge it. Just stay the course and have another great show at Forbidden Door and just hit them that way. But anyway, we will have you loaded with content here on the Main Event Net that weekend, but we have you loaded with content here weekly on the Main Event Net. So subscribe. We're on the road to 400. Hit that thumbs up. Click that bell for notifications. Go follow us on X and Instagram. I can't believe I called it X. That's disgusting. Go follow us on Twitter and Instagram, mainevent_net on there. Click the QR code, wherever way it is. Click the QR code. Got him, dude. Nah, dude. Nah. Go buy some merch. Go follow us everywhere. Do the damn thing. See what happens when you get a 2-hour show? We even spent the first 8 to 10 minutes talking about sports. I was riled up today. I was passionate today. We should have a lot of clips coming out of today. I felt like I was fucking in my bag, as the kids said today. But yeah, must have been, I got that extra shot of espresso in my latte this morning. I got you ran out of clip money. Doesn't StreamYard just make free ones for you? Son of a bitch. You just got a new job. What the hell are you talking about? Unbelievable. It's June 3rd. It's like June 4th. You already used all 6. That is not an efficient use of resources, man. We need to get a manager up in here. Unbelievable. I have my best show ever. I have my best solo show ever. And we can't even make clips out of it. Unbelievable. See the disrespect I have to deal with? Not only do they counter program my show over on Love Wrestling on Thursday night. Truly unbelievable. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. That's for the old people. If you're not old, you're not going to get that. And I'm not explaining it to you. Google exists. Anyway, love you all. Thank you for hanging in the chat today. This was a fun show. Great episode of Dynamite. We had some sports talk. Spurs and 6. Shout out to Jay Gold, Spurs and 6. Bless everyone. Have a great weekend. Programming note, next week I do have to shoot job work. So most likely no Kayfabe coffee on the Thursday AEW side next week. Because I do have to work, unfortunately. I have some meetings I have to attend, and those are not missable. So I will not be here. But the following week, we will be back. Kayfabe coffee for AEW Dynamite. Follow Main Event Net everywhere. Follow me, JPJ Loves Gaming. I appreciate you all. Thank you to Kyle behind the glass, producing, putting the comments up, putting all the things up. Appreciate you, sir. And it'll be on his birthday. So the next time we're here, we're going to be celebrating a birthday. Celebrating a birthday. Hell yeah. We love to see it. Till then, appreciate you all. See you real soon. Thank you for watching the Main Event Net and Kayfabe and Coffee. I am JPJ. Till further. Peace out.
What up, though? You already know what it is. Best in the world, a.k.a. The Problem. Isaiah Broner. And you watching the Main Event Wrestling Network.